Hello, everyone, and thank you for coming to the webinar today. Let me say hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome to my webinar. We're going to trade important stock earnings with futures. That's what I'm going to teach you about today. Welcome to the webinar. Thanks for coming. Appreciate you giving me your time. It's going to be a great event. So let's get started. It's always nice to be here every week. At a minimum, we have one educational webinar every week. And earnings season is back. Just remember, it's possible to lose money trading futures. Trade carefully. My name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the trading director for 10-minute trades. And as I said, don't trade money you can't afford to lose. It's possible to lose money. Everything we discuss is for educational purposes. All right. So earnings season has already started. The big banks are done. You've got Goldman Sachs released, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley. A lot of companies have already started with earnings. Next week, it's going to be big time, big time, big time. So, just as a refresh, we trade using the methodology. We call it appointment-based trading. The trading platform we use is NinjaTrader, and we trade futures. So, when I'm talking about earnings, we are looking at the stocks, we are watching the stock price, but we developed a way, we invented our own way of trading futures on earnings. So it's very important to understand we're not trading the stock, we're trading futures. So don't get confused. You have to use the NinjaTrader platform if you want to use our software. And our software makes trading earnings much easier than if you were doing it without software. I love the graphics that our team members have made. I just think that's a beautiful picture of Netflix. Just looks awesome. And let's talk about what we have. We have a trading system. It's a whole methodology. It's very simple. We have software. Our software has built-in setups. In our software, you've got the ability to trade breakouts or spike trades. We have reversal trades. We have something we call range trades. Lots of earnings are range trades. Let me give you an example of what I mean by a range trade. So, one of the earnings that's going to be coming up soon will be United Health. United Health, this is a screenshot. One of our members had a very big profit on United Health. It's a stock we've been trading for years for earnings. I can't remember if we've ever had a losing trade on United Health earnings. It's definitely our top trade for earnings. We study when the earnings come out. We understand the time, obviously the date, but the key is the time. We need to be able to set up our software so we can create a reliable setup every earnings quarter. And our software is going to put these little X's on the chart. Those are our orders. The earnings then are released and we get pulled into the market. We are now in a profitable trade. We can move our stop into an area of safety and then the trade ends with a very nice profit. But we get to that area, that whole concept, by this little range. Our software creates a range. When the range gets broken, we get pulled into the market. And that's what I mean when I say we're trading a range trade. We tell the software, well, pull me into the market 6 ticks after the range is broken. And that's exactly what happened. It was 8 ticks, I believe, in United Health. The earnings came out. We got pulled into the market. We were trading the YM futures because that's what moves the best on United Health earnings, and we made money. That was a couple of years ago. I show that particular graphics because it's very large and very easy to see. But just to give you an idea, United Health has had huge moves on their earnings. Let me just show you another United Health. Let's take a look at this one. First off, this is a screenshot of our $600 profit in our prop account trading United Health earnings. Very recent trade on United Health. You can do these types of trades in a prop account. And also, our members are making significant amounts of money and they're using prop accounts. One of our members, Ray from California, made over $700 on a very recent United Health. Look at the move. That red candle, that was a gigantic move. It moved something like 80 ticks on their earnings. That was the most recent United Health earnings. It was a great, great winner for, I don't think a single person in our trade room did not make money if they took our recommended trade setup. And we use a setup that's built into our software called the range trade. It's different than a breakout. We create a range and then we break out of the range. It's just a little bit different and it's something we use very often for morning earnings. So we have a system. Wouldn't you love it if you could spend 10 minutes a day in the market? 10 minutes? Your life would change. That could be what some people make in a week, you might be able to make in 10 minutes. Sometimes you could make in a week what we make in one trade. It's possible. I mean, look, it's not the norm. Normally, you're making 100, 200, 300 here, 200, 300 there, and the idea is to build up these consistent winners. We're not looking to make thousands on every single trade because we know trading doesn't work that way. Normally, you're looking for consistent, nice, steady winners, finding setups, finding trade ability to do that type of profit. It's not feasible. It's really most people aren't going into the market and making $5,000 and $10,000 on every trade. It's just not reality for most traders. We have a trading system that we feel is easy to master, easy to learn, fun during earnings especially, and it's something that can lead to nice steady profits, especially during earnings season. Our system is made up, of course, we have a weekly schedule because we trade on a schedule. That's like one of the most important concepts of what we do. We teach you how to choose the schedule you want to trade on. You could trade on our schedule, but we also teach you why and how to create a schedule. We teach you how to find the events to put on your schedule. So the first part of our system is our weekly schedule. Every week it's free. We send it to our members. Anyone can get it. All you have to do is go to our website, opt in for our free video, how to find 10-minute trades, and we'll start sending you our weekly schedule. This was our weekly schedule this week. And obviously the week's not over. Tomorrow we have American Express earnings. We'll be in our trade room at 6:30 in the morning. Our weekly schedule shows our members when we will be in our trade room. Then we will be trading the market open at 9 o'clock. We've been trading the market open every day. And I would say almost every day members have been making money trading the market open. It's really been very good trading on the market opens these days. So it's a great time to take advantage of being a member of 10-minute trades. We have very specific setups and we'll teach you how to do it, just like we teach you how to do our earnings trades. But our weekly schedule shows you the name of the event we're going to be trading, the time, when we'll be in our trade room, the instrument we're considering trading. And I say considering because sometimes last minute testing will change something that we're going to do. So the weekly schedule, it's not in stone, but it's pretty reliable in terms of what we're going to do. And then we let people know also when we'll be streaming on YouTube. And we also have certain events that we call a watch event. A watch event might be an event that used to be great to trade and it's not so great now. It might be something new that we're watching to see how it's going. It might be something that has been a little bit under the weather, so to speak, in performance, and we're watching it, but it's just a report that we're paying a little bit extra attention to. Then we have our daily trade action reports. We call them daily market movers. Not all events get daily market movers. In fact, earnings don't usually get daily market reports because earnings are very different, often can be different every quarter. There's a lot of variability to trading earnings. So it's important to come into the trade room and discuss the way that we're going to do the trades. Earnings are a little bit different than just a regular news trade at times. So they don't often get what we call a daily market mover report. But about 70% of all the events we trade in our room get these daily market movers, and they're great reports. They show you a lot of important information about trading the specific events that we're trading that day. Our daily market mover reports have multiple setups on them. So in other words, if there's 4 reports that day, you just scroll down. Yesterday we had the NOPA Crush report. That's a grain report that we trade. We also had the API crude oil report. We also had the Australia jobs report. So there were 3 events that got the DMM treatment, and we also were in the trade room yesterday for Beige Book, no DMM, and the market open. Market opens don't get DMMs. Those are trade room trades. Those are trades that members come to the room, we talk about the event, we set up the trade in our trade room. We trade many different ways. We have spike trades, breakout trades, discretionary trades, reversal trades, but it's not complicated, and it's all traded by using our software. Yesterday, the NOPA Crush made us a bunch of money. We had a system. We followed our system. We had our rules, and we followed those rules, and we made money because of it. The NOPA Crush report, or I should say a daily market mover report, shows the way that we're going to trade a report with this yellow line. It shows the name, of course, the report, the time of the report, the instrument we're trading on the report. We have a mini journal of how the report has been doing over the past 6 months. If it's monthly, it might be a weekly report. If it's a weekly report, then we'll show you what the last 6 weeks have done. Some of the reports are mini reports, and they might just get a setup because it might be new. We might not have done the deep data dive on it yet. Or we might have an alternate setup that we just started vetting, and it's something new that we're recommending. And that's a mini DMM. We have many trades that have mini DMMs, and that's what this bottom trade is. It's a mini DMM. But what's important about the DMM, the daily market mover, it gets emailed out the day before the event. So our members know what the event is the day before. They could test it, they could study it, they could look at how they did the last time they traded it, they could see the setup we're recommending, they can test it. It's really important to know that those daily market reports get emailed, and they're on our website for download the day before the event takes place. So that's the second element in our system. The third element, of course, is trade room access. Where would we be without trade room access? We discuss everything in our trade room. How's the market? Who's tweeting? What's going on in the news? And we use all sorts of different methods to keep on top of what's going on at the moment we're getting ready to trade. We watch the various calendars, and I'll go into that in a second. So, weekly schedule, daily trade action report, trade room access. That's all part of our system. They are important elements of our system. And then, of course, our software. We have our News Trader suite. We have our Magnet Trade software. And when a person becomes a member, we send them a software installation sheet. And it shows you, gives you a good idea of what we mean when we say we have software. We have 3 strategies: the breakout suite, the magnet trade strategy, and the trap trade strategy. Then we also give our members, new members, get a quick start video. It's got a lot of information on how to use these strategies. I only wish that people would watch that video before they start fooling around, because they very often ask questions that are so well covered in the video. If you just spend a few minutes watching it, you'd be 100 times ahead of the game. But we live in a world today where people have very short attention spans and they don't spend the right amount of time. So I would say to you in earnest, put the time in and you can be successful at trading. But trading is not the kind of event that you just in 1 minute you're an expert. It doesn't work that way. You've got to put the education in. You've got to make an effort. And if you make that effort, man, you'll become a profitable trader. The opportunities are really there, especially if you make the effort. We see it every day in our trade room. They send us, our members send us beautiful screenshots of their winning trades. Let me show you one that I got today, because literally I'm getting them every day. Let me just, I wasn't planning on showing this one. Let me remove the member's identifying account number. It'll take me 10 seconds. But like I said, literally every day members send us this info. So this morning we traded the market open. We used the NQ or the MNQ and the YM. And just on the NQ, Nitin, one of our expert traders in the room, made over $200 on the NQ in just a short period of time, maybe a minute. And he also had a very nice YM trade. And on his YM trade, he made over $135 on that. So he had almost $400 on the market open this morning. And I would say overall, that happens almost every day. We get screenshots from our members showing us excellent, excellent winning trades. And if you put the effort in, I'll say it over and over, you can become an expert trader. But it's not in a minute. You got to be willing to learn. So our software, you download the files, and then they install into, this is the NinjaTrader platform that you're seeing with live market data right now. The market is pretty negative at the moment on the MNQ. That's what you're looking here on the left. Gold is on the right, but it's not that complicated to use our software. If, for instance, we have multiple setups, so I explained that our software has setups built in, right? The News Trader Suite, that's what we call one of our strategies. So to call that up, all you do is right-click the chart, click the word strategy, and then right on the left it says News Trader. You double-click that, and then inside NinjaTrader, because this is where we're looking, inside NinjaTrader, we have a breakout trade, we've got a range trade, we've got the reversal continuation trade, and then if you just check this little box and click again, we've got trap plays and earnings and manual reverse breakouts, but not complicated. This is stuff every day in our trade room. Every day we go over the DMM if there is one. We go over the trade setup and we show our members every day before the event how to type the numbers into the software. That's all you have to do. If I think gold, like look, we're watching gold right here, right now. Make believe you just came into the trade room and I think gold's going up and I want to catch it. So I right click the chart to strategy, double click News Trader, change the breakout to a reverse continuation. I've got one contract default. I'll put a 20 tick target in, okay? I've got a stop of 25 ticks. All I need is a contract number, one. I'm trading one contract, a target for 20, and a stop for 25. I'm on sim where I'm going to leave it. I apply it and okay it. When I turn the trade on by clicking this little button, I get a button on my chart. It says instant long, instant short. I'm now ready to take a trade on gold. It took me less than a minute to set up what we call a reverse continuation trade. You can use reverse continuations after the earnings are released and the first move is over. Let's say you're trading Apple and there's a big explosion, you make money on the breakout, and then Apple starts going down. Like, look, maybe gold's moving down here. You want to take a quick short. Instant short, move my stop up out of the way a little bit, expand my target. Let's give the trade a little time to breathe. And now you're trying to take advantage of what you thought might be the move the market's going to make. Now, look, this market is 900 ticks positive. Would that have been a smart time to take a short? Probably not. Probably lean more towards a long. Those are the things that we talk about in the trade room. How to use very simple chart setups. We've given webinars on this almost every other week. How to set your charts up for trading so you can make it easy to use our setups that are built into the software so that NinjaTrader becomes very much an automated, semi-automated earnings trader or news trader. And that's what we teach you to do in our trade room. We have 3 strategies: the news trader suite, the magnet trade, and the reversal called the trap trade. And we teach our members how to use those 3 strategies. Inside those 3 strategies, we have probably a total of 5 setups that we use all the time: breakouts, reverse continuations, reversals, and we again go over those setups every day in the trade room. It's never a surprise. It's never hard because we always explain what we're doing well before we take the event and trade it. Weekly schedule, just so you could see it clearly. This was a great week. Last July, lots of earnings. We had the FOMC statement. That's always exciting to trade. We have UPS earnings back then. In fact, the FOMC statement uses our trap trade strategy. We know that one of the best ways to trade the FOMC statement is to take a trade when in a reversal manner, because we know when the statement is made, it's going to get read, the market's going to move one direction, and then we're going to probably get a reversal. We're going to make our profit on the reversal. Here it is, 2 o'clock. The statement just got released. The price shot up. We take a short when the price goes up. We took that short, and surely, as I'm sitting here today, the price reversed pretty big. We got our first target, and then we were able to trail, and we had a really nice $635 trade on the FOMC statement. And that we trade using our trap trade reversal strategy. But we go over it in the trade room. It's never a shock. It's never a surprise on how to do it. And if you're not ready to do it, sim it. Do it in simulation mode so that you learn the best way to trade. Our news trader software, we're on version 11. We've been updating it for 8 years. That's how long I've been here updating our software. It's a custom strategy add-on to the NinjaTrader platform. It has multiple setups. It automates your trade entries if you want to. If it's appropriate, it can have automated entries. Sometimes the entries are discretionary and manual. Sometimes the whole trade is automated. It can move your targets. It puts the targets and stops on the chart. And it's a super ATM program. It manages the trade. Or appointment-based trading, it's a simple time-based approach. You can schedule your trades on specific days at specific times up to a week in advance. All trading has risk. Appointment-based trading or news trading is no riskier than those other forms of trading. The key is having great software to control the risk and allow for the safest setups available. Also, what's vital is trading the best performing events. If an event constantly gets stopped out, if you're trading, for instance, the oil report, and every week the oil report makes no money because it's not performing well, you don't trade that report. And we don't trade reports that aren't doing well. We did not trade the oil report live this morning because it is not performing, and our DMM tells people it's not performing. That's the key. So why do I love appointment-based trading? because I hate being in the market all day. I want to trade at a specific time when I know the market's going to move because an event that's taking place is going to move it. I want to be in the market as little as possible because over the years, the less I trade, the more I make. Most trading is boring. You sit around for hours and hours praying for a good setup. If you blink at the wrong time or have to go to the restroom, you might miss your trade. It doesn't work that way with appointment-based trading. You get there, you know the time the event's going to take place, and you wait, and then you take the trade. There are three main categories that we look at for appointment-based trading. Number one is high-impact economic reports. Jobs, GDP, FOMC statements, those are high-impact economic reports. When that news is released, that news makes the market move. We study the instruments that trade and move the best. Those are the instruments we try to trade always on market moving events. Category number two is big earnings reports, and I'm going to show you all the tools I use to trade and find the big earnings reports. Category two. Category three, market open and close. The open is much better to trade than the close, in my opinion. We do have a certain time at the end of the day that we have traded in the past. These days, we're concentrating on the open because it's been profitable. It's been a great trade. There are hundreds of those triggers, hundreds of events within those three categories that you can pick and choose to fit a trading schedule. We find the best of those reports, though, to trade. And very quickly, I'll show you where we find those reports in a minute. The key is to understand what triggers an earnings trade. So let's look at, for instance, a recent Amazon trade that I show a lot in this particular event whenever I'm teaching about earnings. I love showing this Amazon report because it is indicative of everything critical to what makes a good earnings trade. Number one, Amazon is a company that is very reliable about the way that they release their earnings. What do I mean by reliable? Amazon says they're going to release their earnings at 4:05. Fine. We've studied all the Amazon earnings releases. We happen to know for a fact that they release their earnings a little bit after 4:01. And that's when we put our orders on the chart. But they're reliable. Every quarter, they stick to that release time. 9 times out of 10, that's when they get released. They don't release them at 4:10. They don't release them at 4:20. They're reliable. So those are the kinds of companies we need. We need to find reliable companies. Now, we can trade after the news, so we can also trade companies that we want to trade their earnings because we believe it will move the market, but we might not trade their earnings the exact moment the earnings are released. With Amazon and our favorite earnings trades, we trade them just like a GDP report at the exact moment the earnings are released because we have studied those companies and they are reliable. Also, the amount that the market moves is predictable, and we want predictable earnings also in the way that we trade those reports. So going back to Amazon, they do a couple of things that I said are critical. They're reliable. We know the time their earnings are coming out. It's pretty predictable. I say pretty predictable because look, you could have a 100 tick move or a 500 tick move. That's okay. What you don't want is a 10 tick move and an 80 tick move, a 40 tick reversal and a 50 tick breakout. You want a burst in one direction more often than a reversal because that will tell us to do a spike trade, or you want to see a company where it reverses all the time in a predictable manner, then we might do a trap reversal trade. Predictability also is in the way that it moves when the earnings are released. Here was a recent Amazon. Our orders are the X's, the price explodes to the upside. Both our orders are blown through. In this case, we had one large order, and that was in a cash account over $600, immediate Amazon winning trade. It allowed Amazon earnings trigger the NQ is what we're trading. So to back up for a second, on earnings, we devised a method so that we watch the stock, we trade futures, and we studied which future is best to trade. On Amazon, we trade the NQ or the MNQ because that's what moves the most. What triggers the trade is the immediate release of their earnings, and it's the response of the market to the release. Maybe the market was expecting 10. Maybe the market gave, Amazon said it was 20. That's what causes markets to move. The difference between what might have been expected and the actual result. That's what triggers an earnings trade. The physical release of the data creates a move in the market that allows us to get pulled into the market on that data being released. So, why do I love earnings trades? Because of all the things I just explained. They're reliable. We know when they're coming out. They often have really nice sized moves. Also, just like our regular news trades, I don't have to spend hours and hours in the market. And they also do offer after the news opportunity. And like I was saying before, if you get a company, for instance, Netflix has not been releasing their earnings at a time that is good to trade a breakout when the earnings are released. Netflix releases their earnings almost exactly when the market closes. When the market closes, the NQ or the ES for that matter, and the YM, there's volatile moves that are caused by the daily close. That interferes with an earnings move if the earnings are released at that same time the market closes. Netflix, unfortunately, they release their earnings exactly when the market closes. So they're one of those companies, if you're going to trade their earnings, you might look to trade it after the news is released. The market close volatility has died down, and there might be an option for a reversal or a continuation of the market movement that took place when they released their earnings. So let's talk about our earnings trades tools. And I've got a new one today. I've got one that I've never talked about before. I've never shown anyone this particular tool. It's a clever little tool, so I'll start with that. Let's say, first of all, what's the most important thing? The most important thing, obviously, is you got to find the company you want to trade their earnings. So, in fact, let's start with that first. Earningswhispers.com. What could be simpler than going to a website that has great info on finding the companies that are releasing their earnings? Earningswhispers.com, you go to their website, and the first thing you get across the top is their greatest hits for the next week or two. All right, these are what they think are their greatest hits. I don't agree with all of them, and many of them we don't always trade, but it's a starting point. Tesla, we tried to trade Tesla. Tesla is not a great earnings trade. It just hasn't been. It's one of those big stocks that just doesn't have a reliable move all the time. Doesn't matter. It's still an event that we trade. The beauty of Earnings Whispers is they give us the starting point, and then we do our research. So first thing, as I said, you get the greatest hits along the top. It's usually the popular ones that are coming out over the next couple of weeks. If you click it, you get a little bit more data about that company's earnings. Tesla, for instance, is what I clicked. It tells me when Tesla's earnings are coming out, October 22nd. It tells me the time, and more important, it shows what happened the previous quarter and what time the earnings were released. And sometimes the time the earnings were released is the best piece of info we're getting for whether or not Tesla releases their earnings in a reliable way. It says 416. Their earnings were due out at 415. So it's just a heads up that Tesla may not release their earnings when they say they're going to. But that's the first thing that we test when we find a company that we want to trade. NinjaTrader has a feature called Market Playback, or Replay, we call it, but it's called Market Playback. You can download data, for instance, the NQ, which is what Tesla moves when their earnings are coming out. We download the NQ data, and you can use Market Replay to play back previous Tesla trades because that's a phenomenal feature built into NinjaTrader. Market Replay or playback. It lets you relive previous time and take a trade. No better tool exists for finding out how to trade news and earnings than Market Playback. It is number one tool on finding the best events to trade. It's not just the move, it's the way the move takes place, and we can test it using our software as if we were there for last year's earnings trade. It's just a great feature of NinjaTrader. But earningswhispers.com gives us a lot of really good info. It shows you the Tesla stock movement, it shows you the price of Tesla stock, which is very important, more important than you might think. We're not going to trade earnings on a $5 stock. They generally are not going to move the market. We want stocks that are usually over $100 in value and have billions of dollars in revenue. Those are the companies that move markets when they release their earnings. We're not going to trade, a small little company that owns 10 bicycle stores because they're probably not going to move the market. So earningswhispers.com gives us the greatest hits, and it gives us the ability to do a pretty good data seek in the software to find out how Tesla has been doing previously and when their most recent earnings trade took place. Also, they have a great calendar. Click the calendar and I could do my schedule for next week. Click Monday the 20th and it will show me all the companies that are releasing earnings Monday after the close on the 20th of October. If I want to show them in list view, I can. And that makes it much easier to look at them. So next Monday, there's a bunch trading after the close. I'll go through the list and see if I see any companies that I think might move the market. I could look at their revenue estimate. If it's billions of dollars, it might interest me. I don't see a lot of companies here that I'm interested. Also, if I use this little control panel here and click it left, it will show me what's taking place Monday before the open. So I just go through the calendar and I go through the companies, and this is how we find our earnings companies to start researching whether or not we want to trade them. Tuesday before the open, we've got some possible interesting trades. We've got 3M, which we've traded before. Let's see if there's anything else. Just looking quickly. Coca-Cola, believe it or not, never been a great earnings trade. Lockheed, we've had a little bit of success on occasion. So 3M, probably set up a trade for that. And that's going to be Tuesday before the open. Shows me the time. That trade is going to be at 6:30 in the morning. The earnings release is expected at 6:30. I can click on 3M. Remember, I get that deep dive. Their previous earnings release in July looks like it was on time. 6:30 is what it says. So I get a lot of information for free from earningswhispers.com. That's my first stepping off point to getting the companies that I'm interested in trading for earnings. Then I've got this new site that shows me the last 4 dates earnings were released. And it's not so easy to find that information. It's not published anywhere. You can't even Google that easily and say, what were the last 4? Try it. Try to Google the last 4 earnings release dates for Amazon. It's very confusing and it's hard to figure out if it's correct. But if I go to NASDAQ.com and I go to this particular location for it, all right, and you know what? I'll post that into the chat for everybody so that you have a message there. Hey, TJ, do me a favor and just type something into the text. It doesn't matter what you type. It allows me to send a message in a certain way that I can't if someone doesn't type. So I'm going to send you this link in the chat. Thanks, Willie. That's great. So I can send, I want to just make sure everybody gets this. Bingo. Thanks, Willie. So now you have a link, and if you type a symbol into the symbol search, for instance, let's type in Amazon. AMZN is their symbol, and then click on it and scroll down a tiny little bit. I get the last 4 dates earnings were reported for Amazon. That's not so easy to find those last 4 dates. I'm telling you because it's quarterly. So we don't know always the date, and they're not on the same date every quarter. It's not always on the 31st of July. It's not always on May 1st. But this gives you the date to download data using NinjaTrader Playback so you could test the trade setup and see how Amazon moved the market. That's the importance of this. So this NASDAQ.com earnings page helps us to be able to download data and come up with our setups. Then we use Thinkorswim. Thinkorswim, you do have to, it's not free. Okay, so far everything I showed you was free. Tell you what, let me show you all the free stuff first. Another free site we use, very important tool, TradingView free. Everybody, lots of people use TradingView. TradingView is a really good platform, and I'll show you something very cool about TradingView. And I'll also send you a link to save you time. TradingView has really nice charts, and like I said, they are free, and this link lets you do something that's very important, and I'll show you what. Sometimes you're not sure what instrument you should trade for an event. Sometimes an event will surprise you, and a stock that you thought you might be trading the YM, you might actually be trading the NQ. Up on TradingView, you just type in the symbol of the event of the instrument of the stock you want to trade. So for instance, if I want to trade Apple, or let's say we'll use Amazon, it's easy, AMZN, it shows me on the right there, it's a NASDAQ stock. All I have to do to get the chart is just double click it on the NASDAQ, and I have my Amazon free chart. I can watch this chart while we're trading our earnings, and we will see the Amazon stock and the way that it moves when the earnings are released. And I'll show you a couple of earnings trades, or if you notice, some of our earnings trades, not all of them. Let me just see if any of these that I have here had the TradingView stock on it. So this is a fantastic NVIDIA trade, but it doesn't have the TradingView on it. I'll just try one other one. Otherwise, you'll just have to believe me that what I'm telling you is the truth. Our Amazon trade, nowadays, I use TradingView almost, there we go, almost all the time. And nope, I'm sorry, that's TradingView. So I've got a free chart from TradingView that I'm watching along with data from Thinkorswim. I'm looking at news data that gets released when the earnings come out. And then in the middle, I have our NinjaTrader charts. So what you're looking at are 3 of our free trading tools. Thinkorswim is almost free, and I'll explain what I mean. TradingView, the actual stock, NinjaTrader, the platform we're trading on, and Amazon News from the news feed in Thinkorswim. Those are 3 tools that we use while we're trading. So what's great about TradingView is it often gives me a heads up about whether or not the stock is a NASDAQ stock, an S&P, an NYSE stock. It may affect the instrument that we're trading on that stock. Maybe IBM. Maybe you think IBM is an NQ stock, but it's very heavily weighted on the NYSE, and we actually trade the YM for IBM, not the NQ. Intel is another one. Intel, it could be tricky You look at Intel, NASDAQ according to TradingView, and I agree with that. I would trade the NQ on NASDAQ stocks. All right. But free TradingView gives us tremendous insight. It gives us charts to watch for free. It gives us insight in the instrument we're going to use to trade, which is critical. And it's updated live before the market opens and after the market closes, and it is free. Then we also use Financial Juice. Financial Juice is a calendar. We use 3 or 4 calendars regularly to get our events. All right. That's one of the main things we do is get our events from calendars. Financial Juice, they list their events on the left side, but they have a feature that we use for earnings that's very important. And Financial Juice is interesting. They only pay attention to the best or most impactful of the earnings. So they're not going to have small, tiny companies that nobody pays attention to that we might trade because they do well. That's not what they do. They'll always have Amazon and they'll always have Boeing. They stick with the big ones. But they also have something else that's great. They have a news feed that talks to you in your headset. So let me show you what I mean. It's a news feed that talks to me in my headset. It's called Voice News. When I turn that on, it gives me a spoken guy that's out there in England and he's analyzing the news as it takes place, and I hear it in my headset. That's not free. It's very reasonably priced. It's a phenomenal feature. If you trade news, if you trade earnings, if you trade jobs reports, it's really worthwhile to sign up for Financial Juice Pro. It's about $50 a month. You'll make that money back every day that you trade using their feature of Voice News. And then Thinkorswim is my next big tool that we use. Thinkorswim has some great features. Let me actually load the platform, which I don't usually do. Thinkorswim is really clever. For $50, you can open a Thinkorswim account. Now, Thinkorswim supports futures, they support stocks, they support options, and give me a second. They have a feature that is so great, though. Sometimes an earnings report will get released, and you're not sure the earnings are out because you don't get the kind of move that you want to see from the stock or even the market that we're trading. So they have this news feed right here. And all you have to do is type in the symbol of the stock you want the news feed from. And right here, it releases that news when the earnings take place. So years ago, when we first started trading earnings, and I didn't use Thinkorswim, I wasn't really a Thinkorswim customer. I didn't know this news feed existed, and I didn't have a way to trade and know exactly when the earnings were being released. We knew approximately when. We knew usually within a couple of minutes, but now we know at the second they get released. More often than not, that news is released on that chart, that little screen. And that makes it very important because we know the earnings are out. Number one, we also can see what the earnings are. Were they good, bad, and different? But the most important part of that is we know for sure that they're out. Sometimes we might be trading 2 or 3 companies at the same time. And I could have Amazon on one news feed. I could have another news feed over here where I have Tesla. And I can be certain that the earnings are released for each company because I'll see it. Doubt and not knowing when earnings come out, which is tricky sometimes with earnings, can be reduced by using Thinkorswim. They also have very nice charting, so we can use their charts to watch the stock moves. We can add a second chart if we're already using TradingView. I can set up a chart with Thinkorswim if I want to. It's a very, very nice platform. You can do research on it. They have the ability to go back years and find out when earnings were released very easily just by clicking style, time frame setup, time frame, daily, 2 years, bingo, okay it, and then just move the price over. And now I've got 2 years of earnings release dates. All I have to do is hover over them. I can notate the date and time the earnings are released. Once again, what are we looking for? The ability to do our research so we can test the trades and come up with the best, safest, most profitable setups for trading these events. The beauty of Thinkorswim, all it costs is $50 to open an account, keep the $50 in the account. You have live futures data, options data, stock data before and after the market opens and closes. Those are the major tools we use, and then one more that's also critical. What would life be if you didn't know how much an event moved? So it's really important to look at an actual move in the market. For instance, in the morning, right, when we trade the open, what if you're going to trade the market open every single morning and you want to know approximately? It's not going to be the same every day. You want to know approximately how much the MNQ moves the first 2 minutes of the open. So there is a tool in NinjaTrader. You click the pencil, you click the ruler, you put the pencil ruler down at the bottom of the move, bring it over to the top of the move, and I can see that that was 252 ticks. So I could take 2 weeks of market opens, create a file folder that shows me the average moves, then I can create my targets. I'll know what my targets are. If the market's only moving 8 ticks every market open, we're not going to trade it. There's no profit. But if every morning it's opening and there's 200 and 300 ticks of profit available, that means you can find a setup that will be able to grab some of those profits, because we have lots of different setups that we can use in our software. That's important, and that's where the ruler and the pencil come in. It's simple tools, free, that are part of NinjaTrader that allow us to find all of these events. You can do this type of trading in a prop account. You can do it in a cash account. The key is find the companies that let you do this type of trading. So let me just show you some events that we and our members have recently traded. United Health. The last United Health trade, I showed you this before. One of our members traded it in his prop account for over $700 in profit. That was less than a 20-second trade. I've shown you the Amazon trade over and over. Here was one of our Amazon Health, our United Health trades. This was a while ago, but again, I wanted you to see it. We had our range trade set up. When price breaks out of the range, we get pulled into the market. If it went down, we would have gotten pulled into the market short. It went up, I got pulled into the market long. I'm already profitable. I'm now trailing my stop. And when the market trade was over, we had $150, and that was in 15 seconds. Okay. Other trades. Apple, one of our favorite earnings trades. Apple, very reliable about when they release their earnings. That's the one thing you can count on with Apple. They release their earnings at 4:30. Big explosion down to the downside. $840 profit on that trade. It was over in 2 seconds. Apple is a great one to trade. Another Apple earnings that we traded. One of our members profited $341 in his Lilu account. Very profitable. American Express profit. One of our members, we got American Express tomorrow. $155. Not every trade is $1,000 trade. Some trades are small. and profitable, though. They build up over time. Home Depot, that's one of our favorite early morning earnings. Member traded, $445 profit. Very, very nice screenshots. Our members always send us great screenshots. One of our members trades from Great Britain. Francis has been trading with us for, I think he's probably going 6 months, 8 months, doing very well over in Great Britain. $595. He's a cash trader. He doesn't use prop, he trades cash. And he traded Home Depot, $595, recent Home Depot. That was not 10 years ago. That was a recent Home Depot trade. And then another excellent Home Depot, Calvin. Home Depot, 615 bucks. Calvin's down in Texas. Calvin has been a member longer than I've been working at 10-minute trades. He's one of our OG originals. Great trader, really good person, over 615 bucks trading Home Depot. Over and over, our members send us these great screenshots, but I want to show you an awesome one of my favorites. NVIDIA, $530 in profit. The beauty of this chart, Roz from Kenya has been with us. I think this is her third year, going on her third year. Roz has been trading with us from Kenya. Can you imagine some of the things, the problems you have to overcome, intermittent internet sometimes? She uses Starlink, the Tesla, the Elon Musk's satellite system. It's amazing the way she's trading in Kenya. She made 530 bucks on Nvidia, and members, as I said, are showing us their trades over and over. Here was a positive NVIDIA trade. This was our trade. NVIDIA back last February. Watch what happens. Explosion to the upside. Trade is now over $1,500 profit in our cash account. That was an NVIDIA trade. Not every trade is a giant winner. Not every trade is a winner. You can always have losing trades. Our goal is to find the best of the best events to trade and to teach you how to trade them, to give you the skills so that you can learn how to do it. And it's interesting. One of our members just made a comment when I was showing you Thinkorswim that there's a squeeze indicator in Thinkorswim. And one of the indicators we use when we set up our charts is the squeeze at the bottom of our chart here. It's very helpful for momentum before or after a trade takes place, because it helps you determine maybe you want to get in long. And if you have good squeeze momentum to the upside, it's a great indicator. What's interesting is that the squeeze indicator that's built into Thinkorswim now, we use a similar type squeeze because it's the one that was invented by John Carter and Hubert Senners, which is probably one of the most popular squeezes ever made. They popularized that indicator, and that's the indicator that's part of Thinkorswim. We love simple charts. We love teaching you how to do this, and I have a great offer for anyone who wants to join with us and start trading earnings tomorrow. American Express, 7 in the morning. Wouldn't you love to join us for all of your future earnings trade rooms, all of our rooms, the trap trades, the breakouts, the magnets? You'll get access to our full suite of news trading software, event trading software. The daily market movers will get emailed to you a day before they come out. You'll be a full-blown pro member if you take me up on this offer. Our daily market movers are fantastic. They explain about the event that you're trading. Then you'll also get a subscription to our Pro Trade Room. We don't have every single event that's a DMM, but many, many events. I'd say we have anywhere between 1 and 4 trade rooms on average every day. Not so many on Mondays, which is a quieter news day. Easily 10 to 12 trade rooms a week where we're always going over every event over and over and over, how to do these reports. You'll get access to our JOBB News Trader Trap Trade software. That's a strategy Like I said, you could trade in a cash account, in a prop account. You'll get our magnet strategy. You'll learn about family money trades, the best events. That's what we call them. Earnings trades, breakout trades, magnet trades, which is a great way to trade. There are free webinars on our YouTube channel. You could learn about magnet trades. I'll certainly be giving another magnet trade webinar soon because it's one of our premier strategies. You'll learn about range trades because we use them for earnings trades all the time. We trade oil reports and natural gas reports, job reports. Everything we do is included. I will guide you step by step in all the trade rooms. And here's what you get again as a reminder: the News Trader software, the Magnet strategy, Trap Trade strategy, daily market mover reports, trade room access, earnings trade rooms, spike trade rooms, everything. Take a 30-day trial, complete, nothing held back, $20.25. Renews at $97 a month after 30 days. All you have to do is send an email if you want to cancel. We're not looking for you to forget that you were a member. It's easy to quit if you don't want to stay. Most people stay. They love trading with us. $20.25 for 30 days. www.gopro25.com. You'll get to our website. It's easy and simple. Shows you everything you get. You'll get a quick start video, a class on trading, all of those bonuses, the Trap Trade software, the Magnet Trade software, $20.25. It's so simple. This offer expires Sunday at midnight, www.gopro25.com. It's a trial for 30 days. Like I said, it's going to renew for $97 a month. Easy to cancel. So GoPro25.com, expires Sunday. Members love us. They send us winning screenshots every single day. Every single day we get winning screenshots, especially in our trade room. This is a full-blown 10-Minute Trades Pro membership. We care about our members. If you have a question, just send an email out to help@10minutetrades.com, help@10minutetrades.com. Check out our YouTube channel. It's free, obviously. You can subscribe. There are tons of videos, tons of free webinars, all about trading, all about the events that we trade and the various ways that we trade them, our separate strategies. All of it is covered in free webinars up on YouTube. Help@10minutetrades.com to send me an email. You need the magnet trade. We didn't even cover the magnet trade. That's one of our best setups. Live news trading room, the News Trader software, teachers who cares about how you do. It's $20.25 for the first month. That is ridiculous. You can't imagine the amount of education you're going to get for those 30 days. And all you got to do is just www.gopro25.com. That's the deal, folks. I want to just answer any last questions. What's the advantage of TOS versus Ninja Trader? So TOS we just use to watch the stock price. Ninja Trader hosts our software, and that's where our software is hosted. So you need to use Ninja Trader if you want to take advantage of fast-moving markets, and that's highly recommended. If you're going to join with us, using Ninja Trader will give you a better opportunity of doing well because you can use our software. I have a personal guarantee, no excuses. My personal guarantee: after you finish our News Trader Quick Start course and give it your best shot, come into a few trade rooms, try to learn how to do it. If you still can't get it going, I will personally tutor you in our trade room so everyone else can watch and learn, but I'll make sure that you get going in our system. It's my personal guarantee that you can do this. You can do this. Anyone can learn to trade earnings. It's a fantastic way to trade. So get started now, everyone. www.gopro25.com. Thank you all so much for joining with me today, and I will see you tomorrow in the trade room for American Express earnings. Have a great rest of your day, everyone, and I'll see you soon.